And Michael, you hear this talk about preliminary talks. What does that tell you? What do you think is really behind all this?
Yeah, I think what's behind it is, if you've seen the recent reaction to these transformational deals, it's largely been negative. So the only stock that's up kind of pre-deal is Aetna, and you have obviously CVS and Cigna stocks under a lot of pressure. So I think that's why you would want to float a trial balloon. And then, as we have spoken to our retail analyst, healthcare remains complex.
Healthcare remains complex. This is your way of saying you think this is very early on and not something that is about to get completed. Maybe there's other talks behind this about partnering up or something else too?
Yeah, I didn't realize until I had spoken with our retail analyst just how many hurdles there might be on the Walmart side. My sense of it is that there are a number of things that kind of have to work through, but the bottom line reason for doing a deal like this is the rise in consumerism in healthcare, given the fact that you have the cost has gone up due to these high deductible plans. So
you think overall it makes sense. What are some of these barriers that you're talking about?
Well, in terms of the barriers, you have the Walton ownership that has to be dealt with. You have the current debt level. You have this as an area that has played a role for Walmart in healthcare, but obviously will get a lot more focus when you pay 50-some billion on it. So I think that those are some of the elements to it. But I think there's a lot of opportunity with this deal. I think the longer-term question in healthcare is how much of it will be a touch business, which in my opinion will always be, and that means you need a physical presence, versus how much could be done through telemedicine or online. And so I think the key for Walmart will be to access the home health element here, and Humana's focusing on senior citizens.
You think that this does make strategic sense because of what you just mentioned, the touch factor, and then the focus on senior citizens. Those are people who shop at Walmart. That's your point?
Yeah. So my point is obviously they have a lot of healthcare needs, and if you can meet them at the home, you can even broaden the definition of historically what's been thought of as healthcare, and do more wellness. In other words, food, see how they're living, those elements, so you can broaden what's been delivered, or in essence capture that customer in a much broader dynamic and fashion.
Michael, the Journal had an article today talking about the hospitals should be concerned about this deal. I'm not asking you to play stock market here, but are they accurate in that assessment?
Yeah, I mean, I think what's been interesting to watch here is there's been a lot of talk about Amazon, but we already see healthcare changing. One of the leaders in the space is, quite frankly, United Health, and United has already come out with lower cost alternatives for the average healthcare consumer, and those are urgent care centers and surgical care centers. So there is a threat out there that some of the volume that otherwise would have gone through a hospital is being pulled away.
Hey, Michael, could this be done without Walmart having to really own Humana? I mean, the actual benefits of them being literally locked as one company as opposed to two that are part of a joint venture, which is really, if you read a lot of the reports and also some of the sources that I've talked to, the hints around the edges, that's at least how this started.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's kind of the bigger question. I think when you're kind of on the cusp of transformation, control is 100% control is a better way to go about it, because you can affect change much quicker, but clearly it takes a vision.
Why wouldn't it be the story of efficiency? You get control of this thing, you digitize it, you focus on streamlining it. The potential of digital medicine has been out there for years and never implemented. Isn't the opportunity to do that here? Isn't that what this story is all about?
Well, I think the story is also about, obviously the difference with Walmart is they have a physical presence. So there's going to be a segment of the population that's going to need that higher level of touch. So digital will come in. Telemedicine is around. Clearly that, would be, and obviously, Walmart plays on that side as well. But I think the unique element to what this particular deal will bring is that. I think the other thing that consumers need and that will play is our, tools, our ways to assess cost and quality. And that's not very present right now in today's world, yet something folks will demand as the cost shift continues from employer to employee. So there is the opportunity to take this platform and broaden it.
Michael, when you look around broadly in the healthcare arena, we hear all this talk about disruption, all these different forces that are trying to, if not bring down healthcare costs, at least arrest their continual rise. Is there anybody in the industry that you think is in a good position, or is this a game of musical chairs where eventually you're going to have fewer and fewer seats, fewer and fewer dollars, and the only answer is consolidation?
Yeah, I think right now, today, the one that's clearly leading the effort is United Health. And so while all the focus is in on Amazon, there are a couple of different elements that they are bringing to bear. As I indicated, they're a health insurer that's already getting into the provider side, so that shows you that there's their belief that there'll still be a touch element. Although what's needed now are lower cost alternatives to what we see today. Those are those urgent care centers and the surgical care centers. And then one aspect of it that doesn't get talked about a lot is how you can leverage data. So this was one of the industries that was later in the automation of it, and how you get that data pool, what can be done with it. They've been able to leverage that as well.
Hey there, thanks for checking out CNBC on YouTube. Be sure to subscribe to stay up to date on all of the day's biggest stories. You can also click on any of the videos around me to watch the latest from CNBC. Thanks for watching.